Hello, Jerry Richardson here. Oh, opening day for Atlanta. Well, let's just say the Phillies are really good, and I didn't even talk about other players on their roster. It was all about Bryce Harper when I had mentioned them in an earlier video. But they traded for JT Realmuto from the Marlins. So he's an excellent hitting catcher and a good defensive one as well. Then you got Hoskins, who played some outfield last year. This year he's the full-time first baseman. He has a lot of power in his bat and his swings, and yeah. And then you got the pitcher Aaron Nola. So let's get to it. Now the Braves, obviously they got McCann in the offseason. They got Josh Donaldson, which McCann's not the same player he was, in his prime, but he still has what it takes to play catcher, and he still is a good hitter as far as being patient at the plate and trying to look for something to hit. But anyways, the final score is 10-4 Philadelphia, and it was up there in Philly. So yeah, I figured the Braves not even hosting to start this. I mean, the Braves could have easily won an away game because they were good at it last year. But as I'm looking, the Braves have a lot of young players on their rosters, but they did add some veterans as well. And right now, I'm thinking the Phillies might have the better overall team. But it's one game, and there's 161 to go, and I'm just going to recap this quickly to you. So, the Braves don't are the first ones to bat, and no luck with. I don't even think a single player reached. I can't remember if a player reached or not. But anyways, no, the Rays don't even score in the first inning. I actually don't even know if any Braves player got a hit or a walk in the first inning. But anyways, bottom of the first, Julio Teheran, who started today for Atlanta, he was he's been their opening day starter since 2014. But he gives up a leadoff home run to Andrew McCutchen, who isn't usually a number one hitter. With the Pirates, I think he usually was like a number two hitter. He doesn't always run on the base paths, but man, when he hits one out, he doesn't have to worry about running on the base paths, trying to steal base. But in the second inning, I think it was the second inning, the Braves seemed to get a little bit going. As let's see, what happened. It was either a hit or a walk. I think Acuna walked to start the second inning, and then Markakis, or was it even the start of the inning? I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, it was the start of the inning, and Acuna walks, and the Markakis gets a hit. Acuna, before Markakis collects his first hit, maybe his only hit of the game. Before Markakis gets that hit, Acuna actually steals second base to put him in scoring position. Well, Markakis does get a hit, and not Markakis, but who scored? Acuna scored, tying the game up, but Markakis trying to get greedy and go to second. Well, Realmuto threw him Markakis out when Markakis tried to make it 2 instead of just 1. But it's tied 1-1 pretty much for a little bit there. But man, what a series of events. More home runs came from the Phillies. One from Maikel Franco, who I knew he was a power hitter. I knew at any moment he could just bust things open. And later on in the game, what's that guy's name? Hoskins, yes. Okay, so it's 2 out. I think was it 2 outs? I don't know. I think it was 0 outs. So there's like 2 walks or something like that. I'm not sure if there was 2 walks or if there's a hit and a walk. But not getting that out hurt the Braves, and intentionally walking Bryce Harper, who, by the way, did not get a hit. But he did walk and score a run because Hoskins, who hits behind Harper, would hit a grand slam. So at one point it was 1-1, then it was 6-1 Philly, then it was 6-3 Philly, and then it was like 10-3 Philly, and then I think Atlanta would get one more run. But and how did the Braves get their runs? Well, Dansby Swanson, who I thought needed to be traded, or I don't know if I didn't really want him traded like the guy who runs the basketball league wanted, but he thought trading Swanson wouldn't be a bad idea, and I just don't think the Braves wanted to do that. I was okay with Swanson not being traded, but he did make an error that hurt the Braves. He did have a throwing error, unfortunately. But man, when it was still 6-1, he does collect a 2 out. I think it was a 2 out double he collected. Yeah, he finally gets a hit and he gets to second base. Thought about going to third, but he decided to stop at second. So pinch hitter Matt Joyce, because at this point Toronto's out of the game. So pinch hitter Matt Joyce, who only hit 208 last year, with his first at bat of the season and the first Brave to hit what would be a pinch hit 2-run home run. The only Brave to homer today. That's how it got within 3, is when he hit that home run to score him and Swanson. So Teheran, however, after giving it that first run, he was sharp for a little bit until that throwing error. Then he just started losing control of his focus. And Teheran is a guy who I wanted traded since last season. He was a guy who I wanted traded, but Teheran's proved today that he could really stay sharp when he was at his best, but lost focus when this error on Swanson happened, and it just, even a couple of young arms from the Braves bullpen even gave up runs. So it's just a serious deal right now. It's only the first game of the season, but you gotta wonder, do the Braves really have the team like the Phillies? When you look at this game, you'll think the Braves have their potential to compete with Philly, because Realmuto and Harper didn't even collect hits. I think they both walked and scored runs, but I don't think they didn't even record a hit, and that's supposed to be 2 of your dangerous hitters. But they have a dangerous lineup altogether, the Phillies do. And the Braves, well, the young bats, most of the Braves did get a hit. McCann even collected one. So I was happy that he got on base and got a hit. But what I did learn is you gotta wonder if Luke Jackson, the relief pitcher, needs to be designated for assignment after his bad outing, or if he'll stay on the roster. I remember one reliever last year on who didn't look so well early in the season, ended up getting designated for assignment. I don't know if Luke Jackson's going to be one of those designated for assignment, because Rhett's brothers last year, he had one bad game and he was designated for assignment after that game. So you kind of wonder. But there's some Shane Carl. He had a decent year last year, but he unfortunately had a bad day as a reliever. And well, Parsons, however, did do good. And it will be interesting to see how these young arms do in the bullpen and how some of the young starters will look. I mean, Teheran wasn't as bad as it seems. I mean, it wasn't all him. He did, however, lose his focus, and eventually, after 5, I think he got pulled. But Nola didn't look so sharp either, but still managed to win because after that 29 pitch second inning, he seemed to get control of himself again, and actually, he walked 5, but he struck out 8, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So, yeah. But Teheran didn't do terrible by any means. I think he had 7 strikeouts with 2 walks. Did he have 2 walks? Something like that. I think he only walked 2 guys, but he did strike out like 7, I think. So, Teheran, maybe he doesn't need to be traded. At least not for now. But I will say this. The Braves need to step up. I mean, the hitters, they got to get more consistent with the bats. I know it's only the first game, and it's 161 more games left. But come on, the bats got to be more consistent. I need to see Josh Donald hit some balls out of the park. We got him to strictly be our power hitter, and I want to see that power from Donaldson. But, him being the biggest signing we made, he's got to perform up to the level that he did as a Toronto Blue Jay. That's what we're expecting to get, is his Toronto days type player. So we'll see. But as far as the returning starters, I mean, Swanson, he did get a hit, and he did make some good defensive plays, but he did have some costly errors. I think he had 1 or 2 throwing errors. Actually, no, he only had 1 throwing error. The pitcher, Luke Jackson, actually had throwing errors, so don't be surprised if he's designated for assignment. But I will say this. I still love the Braves. I won't give up on them yet. I just gotta realize that there's still 161 games left, and I won't be doing a video after every game. It will probably be a once a week thing or a weekly recap of the team. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But y'all, if you, I don't care if a Philly fan really looks at my Braves recaps, because I understand that the Phillies are looking better than they did last year, and they had a September collapse last year, believe it or not. They just fell apart, but I don't know if this Phillies team has a September collapse, I don't know what to say, because I just think they're going to be too good. If they are winning division in September, I think they're too good of a team to give up or to stop winning. I'm just impressed with the Phillies. New off-season additions, and I just gotta give them credit where it's due. Obviously, the Braves could have played better, but Phillies, hats off to you. Y'all get 10 runs, and Harper and Realmuto don't even get a hit. So very good job by the other Philly players. I mean, for stepping up and hitting and drawing walks. The Phillies have the team to compete with the Braves. And right now, after one game, I would say they are playing like they're the better team, and that's without 2 of their top players not getting a hit. Just imagine if Harper hits one out, how that's going to look on the Braves' resume. not good. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to say, as frustrating as it is, I kept my cool pretty much, and I mean the umpires' balls and strike calls, they were inconsistent, but it just didn't matter after a while what they were calling. And yeah, Teron, it ain't all on him. He needs more run support when he's on the mound, and that'll be the key for him going forward. But this Phillies team will be hard to compete with, and I have to say, I still think the Braves can win the division. Maybe if they can't compete with the Phillies, maybe get a wild card spot. There might be a lot of good teams out there that'll be competing for the wild card spot, and I hope it. I hope the Braves can actually stay in the division race. But the other teams, I mean, the Mets beat the Nats 2-0. DeGrom, he's gonna be a pitcher that's gonna be hard for Atlanta to go through. But it's all in all. All in all, I still feel confident about this Braves team. I just want to be positive and just say the Braves can still play ball. They just got to play better than they did today, and hopefully, after a week of baseball, after a week or so of baseball, I will be back on here posting how I feel about them. But if you've made it this far, I just want to thank you, because this recap was just more of a talking about the players and their performances. And yeah, most Braves did get a hit, but there were a couple that may have not. Inciarte in the leadoff spot, 0 for 4. He's got to get on base as a leadoff man. He seems to always have a slow start to the season, but man, maybe he can have a better day tomorrow. And he's a good defensive outfielder. He is a good center fielder. And yeah, we had some good defense for the most part, with the exception of a couple bad plays. But I'm feeling good about the Braves still. I do think any of the division teams could win. But I think Phillies and Braves are still alive and well, and the Mets may be in it. The Nats, I'm not sure if they're as good as they are, but they got Scherzer, so they're still gonna. I think it's gonna be competitive. The teams will separate themselves eventually as the season goes along, and the more you tune in, the more you see. But guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment if you like. If not, you can always tell me on Facebook how good I'm doing. But I just want to say, go Braves. Chop, chop. Alright. Bye, everybody.